All right, good morning, traders. Today is May 26, 2026. My name is Coach Kerrigan, lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room, day trading service for the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. I want to thank everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following, liking, and subscribing to my content, especially like the kind words. Thank you so much for those. Big shout out to all of those people that share the BYOB content. Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Ed Carter, Rick Sadler. Appreciate that. Thank you for helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web. Help to educate the masses. All right, let's take a look at the markets this morning. See what we got. Actually, let's take a look at the markets for Friday and see what happened, and then we'll see what we got this morning, and we'll come up with a plan to trade the morning session. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning is 478.95. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Diamond Dow and QQQ made new all-time highs on Friday. SPY and IWM made higher lows and higher highs, closing over bullish traps over their rising 17 EMAs. FNGU made an inside day, closing inside a bullish trap and over the rising 17. SPY closed with a 10-minute downtrend, a 2-hour uptrend. Gold made an inside day. It's a lower high and a higher low. We closed over a bearish trap and under the falling 17. Silver, inside day, just like gold, closed under a bearish trap and under the flat 17. USO, lower high, lower low, closed under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. UNG, lower low, lower high, closed under a bearish cross and under the flat 17 EMA. US dollar index, still in a daily uptrend, closed near the 99.32 area. SPY max pain for today, 745 with a put to call ratio of about 2 puts for each call that expires today. All right, now if this is your first time seeing this, all of these over here are in bullish daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. All of these over here are in bearish daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. They have a little star next to it. They're building out a launch pad over here, or a bull flag from which to launch higher. If they got a little star next to it over here, they're building out a bear flag or a platform from which to dive lower. All right, so bullish, bearish, over the 17 EMA, under the 17 EMA. All right, let's take a look at the markets this morning or for yesterday, and let's take off the pre-market just for a little while here, and then we'll turn it right back on. So we'll look at the 10-minute. You can see the sticks and the 3 plotting underneath the 8 EMA under here. So we have a 10-minute downtrend. You got daylight between the 3 and the 8. So you got a little picture of money actually coming into the close on the SPY 10-minute chart. A little picture of money on the bearish side. Again, 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Yes, Friday. All right. On the 2-hour chart, we have the sticks and the 3 plotting up over the rising 8. So we have a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close on Friday. On the daily candle, we got ourselves a higher high, a higher low, not a new all-time high, but dangerously close, closing over the bullish trap, closing over a rising 17. If we look at that with the quad lines on it, you can see clearly we're up at the top of quadrant 4. So we're bullish and we're still in an uptrend. Same with the weekly chart, same with the monthly chart. Bullish, still in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. It's going to be very similar. Let's start with the 10-minute. 10-minute has a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on Friday. Notice you got the picture of money right there. We've got the 8 EMA separating from VWAP, and the distance between the 8 EMA and VWAP is getting bigger and bigger. Okay, QQQ 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on Friday. On the 2-hour chart, we have the sticks and the 3 EMA plotting up over the rising 8. So we have a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close on Friday. On the daily candle, we got a new all-time high. That's bullish and in an uptrend. New all-time high. So the weekly is going to be bullish and an uptrend. And the monthly is going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. And we'll look at that on the daily chart. So Diamond Dow, you can see here, prints a new all-time high. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Diamond Dow printing a new all-time high there. Let's take a look at IWM. So IWM makes a higher low and a higher high, just like SPY, closing over a bullish cross or a bullish trap up here at the top of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. They made a low, but they didn't make a lower low, and that would be one of these lows below the 17. So IWM still bullish, still in an uptrend for IWM. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU got we got a lot of stuff going on here. Much more than I wanted. Let's take some of this stuff off like that. All right, so FNGU's daily candle was, let's see what we got here. Got, looks like an inside day. All right, so it's a lower high, a higher low, closed inside of a bearish trap, a bullish trap, inside a bullish trap, closing over the rising 17. If you look at the quad lines here, this is the pullback. So we're in the upper third, so we're bullish. We have not made lower lows, so we're bullish and in an uptrend on FNGU. Let's take a look at USO. So here's USO on the daily chart, and you can see a lower high, a lower low. We closed underneath a bearish cross, closed underneath the flat 17 EMA, still in the middle of, at the bottom, in the middle of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish. Still in an uptrend, has not made a lower low for USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG makes a lower high, a lower low, closed underneath a bearish cross, underneath a rising 17, closed at the bottom of quadrant 1. Let's pan out here so you can see the full picture. This is a 14-month high anchored VWAP right there. We are in the bottom of quadrant 1, so anything in the lower third of the quad lines for me is going to be bearish. Upper third is going to be bullish. So we're bearish, and we're still in an uptrend because we have not made a lower low. We have a high here, and you can see they made a higher high and another higher high. So until we make a lower low underneath this candle right here, we're still in an uptrend. We're just not moving up. So bearish, still in a dysfunctional uptrend for UNG. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Start off with gold. Gold right here got on the inside day. It's a lower high, a higher low, closed under a bearish trap under the falling 17. We closed in the upper third, so that's going to be bullish right there on the quad lines. So we're in the upper third, so we're still bullish. And we're still in a downtrend on GLD because we have not made a higher high yet. So bullish and in a downtrend. Okay, so that's gold. Let's take a look at silver. Silver is inside day as well, closing underneath a bearish trap, closing underneath 17 EMA. We are not in quadrant 4. We're at the bottom of quadrant 3. We are neutral, all right, for silver, and closing underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. And we have not made a lower low yet, so we're still in an uptrend, dysfunctional uptrend, because we're definitely not moving up. We seem to be melting down or moving to the right. So there's silver, dysfunctional uptrend, but neutral right through here. All right, let's take a look at the internals. We'll go over here to T2101. Start off right here, T2101. So the market moved up on Friday and participation increased That is a bullish clue. I like that. So bullish clue coming into the weekend. T2122, another bullish clue. Price action spent the whole day on Friday between the upper side of the buyer's chop zone and meandering into the buy zone. Another bullish clue there. Looking for some follow through on these bullish clues today. We'll see what happens. All right, it's T2122. We got bullish clue on T2101, T2122, another bullish clue. Let's take a look at T2123. T2123, bullish gap up. Never filled by the bears all day on Friday. Okay, another bullish clue right there. We're underneath the falling 200. Not my favorite place to be if I'm a bull. All right, price action is, we have a high. We got a high. We're making higher highs. So we are in the bottom of quadrant 4 and in an uptrend. That makes us bullish and in an uptrend on T2123 15-minute chart. On the 3-bar chart, okay, we've got price action up over the rising 200. Bigger time frame always rules. Big over the rising 200. We are bullish because we're up in quadrant 4. Again, this is where you want to be, is on top of that rising 200 if you're a bull. And you got T2123. This is the 3-bar chart. We have not made lower lows, so we're still in an uptrend. So T2123, 3-bar chart, still bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at FNGU. And we'll take what's Friday's price action. Just kind of moved over to the right now. Nice work on FNGU, holding over the flat 200 for the most part. Did they make lower lows? We can see they left off with a low here, and they made a lower low. So coming into the close on Friday, FNGU on the 15-minute is in a downtrend. Okay, they were doing nice, holding up over that flat 200. Looks like they're going to be back up there this morning by the looks of the blue numbers over here. This is, if I put the quad lines on here, that's going to be bullish, but in a downtrend, closing out Friday's price action. And let me show you why it's bullish. There's the low right there. We'll put the quad lines on there. And you can see right there, we're up in the middle of quadrant 4. So that's bullish. And the reason why we're in a downtrend is because we have a low right here, and then a peak, and then another lower low right there. So we managed to ink out a lower low into the close on FNGU 15-minute chart on Friday. So bullish, but in a downtrend. Not a very convincing downtrend. Hasn't really broken this low yet, but it did break that low. And it was just enough to qualify for a downtrend. Let's take a look at the dollar index. Okay, dollar index, bear flag. Okay, here's your flagpole, 6 months. There's your flag. This is the fabric of the flag. It's 10 months long right here. You can see we have a high that protrudes up over the 17 EMA right here. Okay, and then we've made a higher high, and we seem to be melting up or over to the right. So we are in a daily uptrend within our 10-month bear flag right here. So that's US dollar index. Let's take a look at our internals, or not internals. Let's take a look at, let's take a look at max pain. Okay, max pain 745. And a put to call ratio of about 2 puts for each call that expires today in the SPY. Okay, so that's only relevant to the SPY. All right, let's take a look at earnings report. Might have to refresh this, and I do. So today's 26th. Remember, we were off on Monday. AutoZone, Coca-Cola, Zscaler, a lot of familiar names. Nothing here that's going to move the markets, okay? Not enough market cap to really move the markets on Tuesday. Let's take a look at Wednesday. Marvell is going to report. Another one that's the tip of the spear. That is a little bit market moving right there. Okay, because it's part of the AI community. So there could be some market turmoil or benefits based on the earnings released from Marvell tomorrow night. Okay, that's 166 billion. Then we got Salesforce 162, PDD Holdings 139, Bank of Montreal 112. Again, all eyes will be on the tip of the spear. That is the AI community right there. And tech has led this rally that we're in right now. Actually, AI and tech have led this rally. So we'll have to keep an eye on anything to do with AI and anything to do with tech as far as the AI community goes. So this is looking good. We'll see what happens with Marvell when they report tomorrow night. Let's take a look at Thursday. Costco, $458.6 billion. Remember, tech led this rally. I don't think they're going to hand off the baton after tech is done. I think it's done for retail and everybody else. So we'll see what happens. This could be a market mover. It's half a $1 trillion roughly. But again, tech. This rally was built on tech and the AI community. So I'm going to say it's not going to matter a whole lot what happens with these familiar names: Autodesk, Canadian Imperial Bank, Costco. It's not going to matter what happens unless, of course, it's like good. I think that will help out. But if it's bad, tech's just going to continue to rally on. And on Friday, again, more familiar names, nothing there that's going to move the markets. The big one is Marvell, and that's tomorrow night. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. Let me refresh this. Oh, it's on the right one. Okay, this is great. Okay, so we've got for today, we've got the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, 8:30. Case-Shiller Home Price Index, 9 o'clock. FHA House Price Index, 9 o'clock. So you got two house price indices right here. Okay, so if you're not happy with the other one, there's the second one to follow. All right, don't know why we need two. Consumer confidence, 10 o'clock today. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Survey, that's at 10:30. Any Fed speakers? No. Okay, tomorrow we've got MBA mortgage applications, which is a normal for Wednesday at 7 p.m. We've got Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index at 10. We've got Survey on Business Uncertainty. That's a new one coming out at 11, and nothing happening there. So the main headline, the main event this week is going to be GDP at 8:30. And let me just say, last month's GDP was not very impressive at all. Not sure what's going on, but I don't like the trend. But GDP is a main event that could drag us down come Thursday after Marvell reports. We'll see what happens. Durable good orders on Thursday at 8:30. GDP 8:30. Jobless claims 8:30. Personal income and outlays 8:30. Corporate profits 8:30. Retail inventories advanced 8:30. We've got wholesale inventories advanced also at 8:30. And then we've got new home sales at 10 and a gas report at 10:30. Now, where is the petroleum report? All right, so they pushed the petroleum report from Wednesday over to Thursday, and it's going to be at noon on Thursday. And we'll cover Friday when we get closer to that. So let's look at the market this morning, and let's see what we can come up with for a game plan, help us make some profits. Let's take a look at SPY. I just want to say that SPY and QQQ are very heavily correlated. I know I trade the SPY, but if you want better performance, the QQQ offers much better performance than the SPY. So we left off here, 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Let's turn on the pre-market. And we want the last two sessions. So right now we're kind of flat, all right? We don't have a 10-minute uptrend. We don't have a 10-minute downtrend. But what we do have is consolidation over prior consolidation. So whenever I see that, that makes me want to trade the breakout. So I'll be interested in trading a breakout over, let's put this line right up there. Okay, so over 751.36. All right, and I'd be interested in shorting a breakdown to go to gap fill below all of this consolidation through here, below 749.45. All right, so breakout over 751.36. I'd like to trade that to the upside, or if a 10-minute uptrend develops, I'd like to trade that. I can't tell if we got a 10-minute uptrend. It's kind of tough to see with the lines there. It's starting to creep in there, 10-minute uptrend. So price over, that is a green erases red entry over 751.36. Red erases green entry, all right, is right here underneath 749.40. All right, and I would be trading that down to, well, of course, Friday's high, and then possibly down to gap fill. Friday's high, this would be my targets right here. Friday's high. My second target would be VWAP, where it left off Friday. And my third target would be right here. This would be gap fill. And my fourth target would be, of course, the post-market low from yesterday. So those would be my downside targets. Let's go take a look at Gamma, see what Gamma's doing this morning. And we'll come over here. And we can see we've got a call wall. Now this will change once the market opens up. So we've got a call wall at 752. We've got absolute Gamma. Looks like, how much do we have there? We are in a negative Gamma regime, but notice the number. It's not in the billions. It's easily erasable within probably 10-minute, one 10-minute candle. They can erase probably 150 million in gamma exposure. So let's see what we got here. See where absolute gamma exposure is. We've got on this candle, we've got a net positive call volume of 321 million on that one. And the total on this one is 330. So our absolute gamma is going to be down here. Robert says he's got some SPY calls. He plans on exiting early in the morning. So absolute gamma is way down here. Okay, it's 735. I don't know that we get to 735. I've seen some funky stuff happen after a long holiday, so we'll see what happens. But absolute gamma is down here. Hold on just a minute. All right, I'm back. So absolute gamma's down here. So price will typically be attracted to that. All right, so you get two bigger ones. Chances are the market moves south this morning based on what we see right now. And again, all of this could change once the market opens up. So we'll see what happens when they clean. This is just all a mess right now. I'm sure they're going to clean it all up before the market opens up, and we'll see it at 8:32, 9:32, and we'll see a much clearer picture. Right now, absolute gamma exposure's down here, so that's going to be magnetic. So we'll see what happens with that. We're in a negative gamma environment, so we'll see what happens. We're approaching the 752 call wall, so that should act as a reversal area. 9 times out of 10, not 100 times out of 10, but 9 times out of 10, that should act as a reversal area as we move into that 752 call wall, also with a negative net gamma exposure. So we'll see what happens this morning. All right, that's it for me, traders. I will be back in 45 minutes and we will trade the markets open live.